You know the vibes. We're back. Day 2 this week, the 1st of February. So you guys who didn't get started on your New Year's resolutions, you can start now, a month late. But we've been here all month. We've been here all of 2022 and we ain't going nowhere. BJ Armstrong and myself, Mo Mooncey, bringing you the Hoop Genius podcast. What a night of action it was around the NBA. BJ, how are you doing, my friend?
Mo, we are here in the building talking NBA action with my man, Mo Money.
We're trying. Listen, the NBA is ruining my life because the lack of sleep I'm getting is outrageous, okay? But it's 100% worth it. We had some amazing games last night, and I don't know if you saw this though, BJ. The NBA started a new thing called CrunchTime, which is essentially the NBA version of Red Zone. Now, I was pissed because it's not available in my location. I tried to go on it, and it said not available in your location. So you're going to have to break it down for the people because I was doing it manually. I was manually switching between every game when it gets to crunch time, watching bits here and there, bits here and there. What did you think of it? Did it work?
It did not work for me, Mo, but I did see it this evening on my phone as I was watching the games. I was just randomly, for some reason, I was on my phone and I was like, oh, crunch time. So I tried to open it like 3 or 4 times, but I didn't have any success. But what a fascinating idea. What an interesting idea. And I began to watch it because I was watching another game, and then the Philadelphia game went into overtime. So I wanted to watch the other games. And here in the States, they have a thing called the red zone.
Yeah. You get that here. That's why
okay.
NFL is so big over here.
Yeah, and they get a thing called the red zone. So I thought the crunch time was great. And I'm really kind of excited for it because you can watch games, especially in the last 2 minutes or 4 minutes as the game gets to a certain level or at the end of the game where there's, as they say, it's money time. So, but I didn't have much success, or I didn't have any success trying to get in tonight.
Well, if the NBA is looking for someone to host that show over in Europe because the American version is not available over here, hit us up. We'll be there. We'll be ready.
Yes,
Speaking of, copying the NFL and copying the red zone, I was having this conversation on Twitter yesterday because I don't follow the NFL, as you know, and the Super Bowl teams are set. You've got the Bengals versus the Rams. I said, give me an NBA comparison to who these teams would be. So who are these teams in NBA terms? And I put it out there. I got a bunch of interesting answers. Doc Rivers, in fact, gave his opinion. But BJ, I wanted to know from you, if you had to compare those 2 teams in the Super Bowl to 2 teams in the NBA, who would you be looking at? Because I got a whole bunch of answers. I got the 2012 Heat versus Thunder, a young team that drafts a bunch of stars, goes up against a team that acquired stars from across the league. But the most popular comparison was saying that the Bengals are like the Memphis Grizzlies going up against the Brooklyn Nets. They're saying Ja Morant would have to be the Joe Burrow and have a mountain of swag and talent to lift his team. Whereas the LA Rams, much like the Brooklyn Nets, packaged a ton of stars and are putting all their cards on the table for championships now. BJ, what's your comparison?
God, that's a tough one, Mo. That's tough. Joe Burrow? He's like the new kid on the block, and what a story! Because he wasn't like Joe Burrow kind of reminds me a little bit of really kind of like Steph Curry in this sense. Joe Burrow wasn't like a when I say top notch, he wasn't like a 5-star recruit. Kind of like Steph Curry, where he goes to Davidson. Joe Burrow goes to Ohio State for 2 or 3 years, and he's not like the beloved, goes there and starts and has like a storied career, he actually has to transfer to LSU.
Okay.
Goes there, unlikely. I don't even think he's the starter when he transfers. The starter gets hurt. He's the backup. And then, as they say, the rest is history. Joe Burrow wins a national title. Joe Burrow is already in year 2 or 3. I don't think anyone had this written out for Joe Burrow. Kind of like Steph Curry, like I don't think anyone saw Steph Curry coming into the NBA and saying he was going to be the greatest as what he has become. So I think that's Joe Burrow. And then on the other side, you had a quarterback there, there for the Rams.
We talking about Odell?
No. Odell is the
that's
wide
the only
receiver.
That's the only player I know.
Talk about Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford.
Okay.
Matthew Stafford was in Detroit, right? And Detroit is like purgatory for NFL players, right? You go there, you don't get to the playoffs. We've never won a Super Bowl. And I say we because I'm a Detroit Lions fan, a true Lions fan. And then suddenly now he leaves Detroit after like 10 or 11 years there. I think 12 years, I think to be exact. And suddenly now he's going to the Super Bowl, his first year after leaving Detroit.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to think of someone. This would be Chris Paul.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And, great talent, one of the elite quarterbacks as far as numbers and, statistics, but never able to have the same success of like a Tom Brady or, Joe Montana, those type of guys. But he's in the Super Bowl now, and hopefully he'll have he'll have more luck, let's say, than Chris Paul did in his first time reaching the NBA Finals.
Interesting. Well, I'm rooting for the Bengals because they said that that's like the Grizzlies, the underdogs, and the kids that just been drafted in. Who are you rooting for?
I live out here in LA, so I'm gonna root for the Rams, right? If my Lions can't be there, I'm gonna root for the Rams, and hopefully, it'll be great for the city. But I'm gonna tell you what, this Joe Burrow guy he's the real deal.
Okay.
So I think it will be interesting to watch. I think it should be fun to watch, and hopefully we'll put on a show because these last 2 weeks, I don't know if you've been watching, Mo. It's been really fascinating, great theater in sports watching these guys.
I saw a tweet and it said, the NFL is having these all-time classic games. Meanwhile, the NBA is discussing trades about a guy that won't even put his uniform on to take the court. So why not bring the people up to speed with the NBA news? Steph Curry, as you made the comparison, Joe Burrow, has busted out of his slump. He's been struggling lately, and there's nothing quite like a game against the lowly Houston Rockets to get out
of his slump.
Of your slump. He put up 40 points last night with 9 assists to go along with it. And he went 7 from 14 from behind the arc, albeit it was against the 14-36 Houston Rockets. Sometimes you need a game like that to get your confidence back, get your shooting stroke back, Steph back. But the game that we need to talk about, and I know we talk about the Grizzlies all the time, they are the most exciting team in the NBA, but they lost last night to a Joel Embiid-less Philadelphia 76ers. Now, I want to talk to you about stepping up when your superstar's not there, because you once found yourself in that position for an entire season, when a certain guard for the Chicago Bulls decided not to continue playing for the Chicago Bulls. But I want to just talk about Tyrese Maxey, because it's not just Joel Embiid missing last night's game with rest, where I think he was a bit scared of jumping him on a poster, but with the Philadelphia 76ers point guard missing the entire season, Tyrese Maxey has stepped up in a big way. Last night, he had 33 points, 8 assists, including the game-winning layup in overtime. What's been your take on Tyrese Maxey? And just tell the people a little bit about stepping up when a superstar is out of the lineup.
Well, it's always tough to play a team when they're missing their superstar, because that team takes on a new identity, and suddenly you get accustomed to guarding players a certain way because of their role on that team with that star player, it changes drastically. And you saw Tyrese Maxey this evening put that on display, because suddenly he goes from maybe being the third or fourth option on the team, because you have Joel Embiid, you would have, Tobias Harris. And then suddenly, you have Steph Curry. And then suddenly, Tyrese Maxey will step in there and kind of fill that void, as you're playing the game or you get a feel for the game. Suddenly now he's the number one option. He has 33 points tonight, 8 assists, 3 rebounds, 4 blocks. And he's going toe-to-toe with Ja Morant. And they're going back and forth. So, I don't think that was probably part of the defensive game plan, as game planning for someone to play like that. But it's the NBA and anything can happen.
He's been nice all season.
He's been great.
He has been nice all season long.
He really has done a nice job. I mean, he's averaging, I think, roughly around 16, 17 points a night.
Yep.
So, he's been playing very consistent basketball for a young player. And a lot of that has to do is because, most of the defenses are centered around Joel Embiid. And then, Maxey does his thing, Tobias does his thing, Seth does his thing, Danny Green gets, comes in, makes open shots. So they have a lot of nice pieces, but clearly the centerpiece to all of that is Joel Embiid, and he wasn't playing. So now you got to figure out, who's going to step up, how they're going to play, what tempo they're going to play. And it's always tough to play against those teams. You really underestimate those teams when they play. And it's a lot of times you see that happen quite frequently, believe it or not, in the NBA.
Let me ask you this, PJ. Are we ready to call Nikola Jokic the MVP yet?
We have to put him there.
The Denver Nuggets quietly have won 11 of their last 14 games. They're up now above the Dallas Mavericks for 5th in the West. They're on a 5-game win streak. We didn't get a chance to talk about this before, but I thought it's only right we give it a little talking about right now. They're 7 games over 500 now. The only knock against him at the start of the season was that the Nuggets were below 500. He's carried them above 500, way above 500 now with his play. He leads the team in points, rebounds, assists, steals, blocks, field goal percentage, true shooting percentage. He is playing without Jamal Murray. He is playing without Michael Porter Jr. And listen, I don't think there's a case against him. Like, there's nothing you can say now. No. Like, there's no, every other player, like Steph, MVP, well, he went through that slump. KD, MVP, well, he's been out injured. Ja, MVP, well, his team was amazing without him. How much is he, like, Joel Embiid is going crazy right now. And I don't think anyone's talking about it. The Nuggets have gone on a nice little win streak here. They're 1 game behind 4th place in the Western Conference. And with Joe Ingles tearing his ACL and the Utah Jazz not looking that great this season, they could easily finish top 4. So I'm putting that out right now. I'm saying Jokic is now my MVP.
I could see the Denver Nuggets reaching the 4th seed and overtaking the Utah Jazz. But let's pump the brakes here for just a second. This guy, Jokic, is without question. Now he's in the top 3 for the MVP now. Whatever the other 2 you got, if you got KD in there, you got Steph Curry in there, you got Giannis in there, you got Jokic, whoever you got in there, whoever you have as your top 3, Jokic is in there now. He's in there. He's been consistent. He's carrying the team minus Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr., and he has his team in the Western Conference playing. And now they are in 5th seed? They're in the 5th seed right now?
1 game behind 4th.
Which is unbelievable. It's incredible. And it's all because of Jokic. Jokic did something the other night versus the Milwaukee Bucks. He sealed Giannis and just pending. Mm-hmm. And there aren't many players that can do that.
Big
Jokic
body.
was one. Yeah, that's a big body.
He looks just like a chubby old guy, but he's a strong guy.
No, he pinned him, and they went in there and beat. That was a pretty convincing win on the road, I might add, in Milwaukee. So give Jokic credit. Now it's time to put him in the top three. Whoever else you got in there.
Who's your top three right now?
Joel, Giannis, and Jokic.
All international players.
Those are my top three. Those are my top three.
I love it
right now.
Same.
Right. Those are my top three.
Yeah. Steph's horrendous shooting slump dropped him out for me. Ja Morant next year, I have no doubt will be in there. Bear in mind this, there are only 3 players aged 22 or younger to have a streak of 7 or more straight games with 30 plus points. Can you name those 3 players since 2000?
Say the question one more time. Say the question one more time.
Since 2000, since the year 2000, so the last 22 years, there's only been 3 players when aged 22 or younger to have a streak of 7 or more games scoring 30 plus points. Can you name the 3 players?
Jordan is one.
No, since the year 2000.
Oh, yeah, you're right. You did say that. Sorry. LeBron James.
Yep.
Kevin Durant.
Yep.
Since 2000.
One of them is this season, happening right before our eyes right now.
Is it Ja Morant?
It is Ja Morant.
Really?
When I say generational, this is what we're talking about. Generational talent that we're seeing.
Wow.
If you guys can see the smile on BJ's face right now.
Wow. Wow. you know how I love me. You know I love me some Ja Morant. And he's really scoring the ball at an incredible clip. I don't know if you had a chance yet, Mo, to watch the game. I mean, he was just fantastic.
Behind the back assist.
His highlights are just incredible.
The lob that he catches out of the sky, it's unbelievable. I just wish they got the win tonight because that was a very winnable game. And as you can see, as we just spoke about, the Western Conference is getting closer and closer. One thing I'm very happy about is my Boston Celtics. 5 wins in a row.
I thought I saw a little defense out there tonight, Mo. I was shocked. I saw a little defense out there tonight.
You know
what? The Celtics.
What I've been seeing recently is, number one, how I've been banging on about them getting a point guard to dictate the play. Marcus Smart has taken that role, and he's taking it seriously. And he's getting things in order. Number 2, Tatum and Brown have played well together, almost had the same amount of points in all of the last few games. Number 3, they started listening to the coach. They were up by 20, then they let the lead slip. Ime called a timeout, and Stokes came out on a 7-0 run. He had some strong words for them during that timeout. And the most important part of all of this little winning streak is, well, the schedule has been ridiculously easy, and Miami Heat were playing without Jimmy Butler. So there's that. But looking ahead at the schedule, February is a very winnable month. And it just goes to show how much the schedule can affect narratives in the NBA, right? They've got to play Charlotte, Detroit, Orlando, Brooklyn at home, so no Kyrie, Denver, Atlanta, Philly, Detroit, Brooklyn, in Brooklyn again, so no Kyrie again, Detroit and Indiana. So when you look at that, the only games you should really lose is maybe Philly and maybe Atlanta and maybe Charlotte. But the rest of them, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's 11 games there. You should go 9-2 over that stretch.
Mo, this is the NBA. This is the NBA. There are no should be's, could be's, ought to be's. Take it one game at a time.
But let's just lay this hypothetically. There are only 5 games, 5 games out of first place in the East. That's how close the Eastern Conference is.
Should I let you fan out right now, or do you want to talk for real?
All right, let's talk for real. Let's talk for real. Go on.
Okay.
Tell me for real.
For real. They're 2 games over 500. They go on a 2-game slide. They're 27-27 or whatever.
Or they do what I said, they go on a 9-game win streak, and then they're 11 games over 500.
Okay. Look, Celtics have talent. The Celtics have talent.
So let me enjoy this. Let me enjoy this.
I'm gonna let you enjoy this. It's great to see them playing well. Look, Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, they have been the focus here. Can they play together? All of those things. Now let's give them credit when they are playing well together. But more importantly, the key to this 5-game winning streaks is their defense.
Yep.
That's the key. They are playing well on the defensive end. And when you watch them play tonight, they were switching, they were active, they were talking, and it was fun to watch. I mean, Jimmy Butler, okay, he didn't play. Some of their key guys didn't play. However, I saw a team that was focused, especially on the defensive end. And the most important thing is win the games you're supposed to win. To me, that's the first sign of a good team. So I'm going to give Boston credit because, we get after Boston a lot, and I love to give you a hard time. But give them credit when they play well and play the game the right way. And right now, they're focused, they are defending, and they're playing like a really good team. And we haven't said that a lot. We haven't said that a lot this year.
And it all starts with Marcus Smart since he came back from COVID, because he's really put his imprint on this team. Against the Hawks, he guarded Trae Young and allowed Trae Young to score 0 points when he was guarding him. Kevin Huerter scored 0 points when he was being guarded by Marcus Smart. Against the Hornets, the other night, Devontae Graham scored 0 points when being guarded by him. Josh Hart scored 0 points when being guarded by him. And then, Bam Adebayo, when he was matched up with Marcus Smart, I've seen him digging the ball away. I've seen him causing some real problems for everyone on the Miami Heat. They didn't want to go in the post with Bam Adebayo against Marcus Smart. Think about that. Think about that.
Mo,
think about
let's
it.
Let's move on before
think
you
about
jinx them. Let's move on. Let's enjoy the win.
Hey, there's no jinxing greatness.
So everyone listening, PJ Tucker didn't play. Jimmy Butler didn't play. Kyle Lowry didn't play.
Bam Adebayo played and scored 12 points. That's all you need to know. Okay? That's all you need to know. Okay? Now, the reason why I say all of this is because if they trade him before the deadline, I'm going to be mad.
Marcus Smart?
Yeah, because he's in every trade rumor right now. If they trade him before the deadline, I'm going to be mad. So I'm just warning you guys how mad it's going to get.
Who would you like to, if they were to trade him, who would you trade him for?
No one, never. I will go and support the Grizzlies for the rest of the year. Because that is the one player on the roster. I'd rather they trade anyone else. What they're going to do is they're going to trade Dennis Schroeder to get under the luxury tax. That's what they're going to do. That's all they're going to do. There's no player that I'd be happy to get in return for Marcus Smart. Give me LeBron.
No player.
Give me Ja Morant. Give me Giannis. Give me Steph Curry. Other than that, no one.
No one.
No one in this league. I like the intangibles.
What about Tybalt?
No. What does he do better than Marcus Smart?
I'm just asking. Matisse Thybulle is a very, very interesting defender.
And a horrible offensive player.
I'm just asking a question, Mo. I didn't say.
Yeah. No, I'm just saying he's a great defender. Tybulle's a fantastic defender, horrible offensive player. Whereas Marcus Smart is a great defender and he can give you some level of offense. And over the past 5 or 6 games, you've seen him dictate the offense and distribute the ball and find Tatum and Brown for their looks rather than letting them isolate.
Can I get a little love here to a player who's quietly going about his business? And we just kind of overlooked him. We pay so much attention to Ja Morant, but Desmond Bane tonight quietly had a 34 piece.
It's pain to talk about Desmond Bane.
I'm just gonna. Ja Morant had 37, 5 and 5. no doubt. But Desmond Bane had a quiet 34, 7, 3 steals.
It's painful. It's painful for me to talk about Desmond Bane, BJ, because the Boston Celtics drafted him and traded him for a second-round pick.
This guy, Desmond Bane, is suddenly, he's we talk about John Morant, but we got to talk about their backcourt right now.
Do you know why I like Desmond? And this is without Dylan.
Who is the best backcourt? Who is the best backcourt now in the NBA?
Now that's a tough question because we have.
Oh, it's not tough. Mo, I need to know.
Mo. Are we saying fully healthy?
I'm saying
fully healthy. Give me Steph and Clay. Fully healthy. Give me Steph and Clay. I'm not gonna lie.
Who's the best right now? Hey, right now. You're telling me right now in the NBA. Right now.
It's between Zach LaVine, DeMar DeRozan. If you're going to include DeMar DeRozan as a shooting guard, even though he don't.
I'm asking you, Mo. You're dancing right now.
Okay,
Mo.
right now, the best backcourt in the NBA is the Phoenix Suns, Chris Paul and Devin Booker.
Okay, I agree with that.
That's the best backcourt in the NBA right now. But the Memphis Grizzlies are in the conversation.
Yes,
and it's without Dylan Brooks. What I like about Desmond Bane, he is what I call a dog. Yeah, he's the same as Draymond Green. He was overlooked in the draft because they said Desmond Bane's wingspan isn't long enough, and all 29 teams passed on him. The team that drafted him foolishly traded him to dump Enes Kanter's contract in some sort of three. I don't even want to think about it. It makes me sick. Anyway, he can name every player drafted before him.
He wouldn't even play. If he played for the Celtics right now, he wouldn't even play. Where would he play?
I don't know.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you have 2 all-stars there. He wouldn't even play.
I mean, Aaron Nesmith's getting game time, and he's been looking horrible. So he would play ahead of him. But anyway, aside from the Celtics, what I like about Desmond Bane is he plays with a real chip on his shoulder. He's really out to prove that all these teams were foolish for not drafting him, and he has proven that. He's a hard worker. He hustles on the defensive end. He gets open shots, and he's not afraid to let it fly on the offensive end. He put up 21 shots tonight. For a young guy.
He's quietly going about his business, right? I just want to make sure we don't.
I just want to know where he's going to fit when Dylan Brooks is going to come back. Is he going to slide to 3? Are they going to put Dylan Brooks in the 3? Like, how is that all going to work?
It's a great problem to have.
Hey, man.
It's a great.
There's way worse problems to have.
He's beginning to. You know who he's beginning to remind me of? Of like a Joe Dumars.
Okay.
Because when Joe played, Isaiah had all the highlights, all the flash, the handles and all of the things that you would see. And then, but you look over there like tonight, if you watch the Philadelphia Memphis game, all the highlights were basically John Morant. But then when you watch the game, you go, I didn't even see that guy had 34. I mean, they got 70 points from their backcourt. This guy Desmond Bane is quietly he's something. He's a problem. He's a problem now, and he is a problem.
Can I just tell you one thing before we go here? Because we reached half an hour. The other problem we have. There's a big problem going on right now is the mental health of my friend Jack. The Sacramento Kings went 0 for 5 on their road trip, losing by a combined, are you ready for this? In 5 games, they lost by a combined 98 points. Okay?
How's my guy Jack?
Not good. No, and he's a 49ers fan as well. So not good. Not good. We got to see what the Kings do at the trade deadline. Anyway, that's been us. Tonight, we've got the Brooklyn Nets versus the Phoenix Suns, which I'm looking forward to. The game's in Phoenix, don't worry. So Kyrie, Devin Booker, head-to-head. I think the Phoenix Suns win the game. I don't think there's any dispute in that. But who's going to put the most points up? That's going to be the game within the game. Because, these guys talking about the best backcourts in the league. How crazy is it that we didn't even mention Brooklyn in their conversation about best backcourts in the league? Kyrie Irving and James Harden.
How about that? How about it?
Yeah.
But we got to call it like we see it, Mo. We have to call it like we see it.
The game I'm looking forward to, on a kind of more nerdy one, is the Minnesota Timberwolves versus the Denver Nuggets. Because I think, the Timberwolves have been kind of finding a little bit of a rhythm there. So we're going to have a look at those games. We're going to be back tomorrow. We're going to go and record Sky Sports Heat Check, our other show on Sky Sports as well. So rock with us there. But stay tuned in here for daily episodes, breakdowns, analysis, insights from the world of the NBA. And BJ, don't forget, today's the 1st of Feb. Trade deadline's the 10th of Feb. So we're going to have to be talking some business real soon about who's going where. You're going to leave the fans with one name that you think is going to be on the move before the trade deadline.
Since we were talking about our good friend Jack, I'm going to stay out in Sacramento. I think Harrison Barnes is on the move.
Mm-hmm. I think they should be open to moving their entire roster minus Tyrese Halliburton. But that's another conversation for another day. My peoples, thank you for rocking with us. Hope you have a great week, great Tuesday. The vibes. Until tomorrow, get buckets.